At the beginning of the movie, we see a group of poachers killing innocent animals in the dark of night. The hunters earn vast amounts of money by killing wild animals and selling their various body parts. During one such activity, two of them fall prey to a ferocious lion. Sometime later, we are introduced to a man named Nate Samuel. He is a doctor by profession and is accompanied by his two daughters, Meredith and Nora. They have come to South Africa for a vacation, and they are picked up by Samuel's friend, Martin, who is a biologist and the manager of Mopani Reserve. The Mopani Reserve is a designated area of the African jungle. Martin takes them to a village. This village is where Samuel's late wife grew up. After his wife's death, Samuel decided to bring his daughters to visit their mother's village. Their mother was a wildlife photographer by profession, and Martin was her childhood friend. Currently, Martin lives in her family home, where Samuel and his daughters are staying. The four of them are having a good time together. However, some tension between Samuel and his daughters is noticeable. This is because, before his wife's death, Samuel couldn't give her much time, nor could he give enough time to his daughters. As a result, Samuel doesn't share a very close relationship with his daughters. The next morning, they set out to explore the beauty of South Africa's mountains and wilderness. The jungle surroundings and the wild animals uplift their spirits. In the midst of this, Martin shows them an abandoned school located high up in the jungle's hills. He explains that this school used to educate the children of workers from a nearby copper mine. Martin then takes them to a spot halfway up the hill where they meet his colleague, Banji. Martin has brought them here to show them lions and their families. Among these lions, Martin has personally raised two since they were cubs. According to Martin, if an outsider attacks these lions, they will either die or kill in return. This is the law of the jungle. As Martin plays with the lions, he suddenly notices that one of the lionesses is injured. Judging by her wounds, Martin suspects it to be a gunshot injury, indicating that poachers have attacked them. To investigate the matter, Martin takes Samuel and his daughters to a nearby village. However, upon reaching the village, they find no villagers around. After wandering for some time, Martin suddenly notices something horrifying. Martin tells Samuel, "Keep your daughters away from this, as the sight is terrifying." Many people are lying dead in pools of blood. Their bodies bear wounds suggesting that a lion attacked them. Martin is shocked by this scene, as he has never seen anything like it before. Witnessing this dreadful situation, Martin decides to leave the area with Samuel and his daughters immediately, prioritizing their safety. However, on their way, they encounter an injured villager. But the man was so severely injured that he passed away before he could say much. At that moment, Martin heard a noise in the jungle, out of sight, and went to investigate. Following lion tracks near the riverbank, Martin stepped into the water. Suddenly, Samuel heard a gunshot and Martin scream. Hearing the noise, Samuel ran towards Martin and upon seeing something terrifying, started running for his life, as if death itself was chasing him. Just as Samuel managed to get into the car, a ferocious lion leaped onto the vehicle with full force. The impact shattered the car's window. The lion, in a frenzy, tried to reach inside the car through the window and drag someone out. Inside, Samuel and his daughters were panicking. Despite the dire situation, Samuel kept his composure. Even when the lion grabbed Samuel's leg, he instructed his elder daughter to start the car. With extraordinary courage, he kicked the raging lion, throwing it to the ground. However, this caused their car to veer off and crash near the edge of a cliff. Fortunately, no one was physically harmed in the crash. Samuel tried to calm his daughters, but all of them were well aware of the dire circumstances. They were now in a deserted part of the reserve, a place where no humans ventured. Additionally, there was no mobile network in the area. Thus, they needed help to escape. While discussing the situation, they received a message from Martin via the car's walkie-talkie. Martin informed them that the rogue lion had attacked him and severely injured his leg. He advised them to stay inside the car and use the vehicle's communication system to call for help and leave the area as soon as possible. Samuel, however, realized from Martin's voice that his condition was deteriorating. He might lose consciousness at any moment, as his leg wound was bleeding uncontrollably. Samuel advised Martin to heat a knife and cauterize the wound to stop the bleeding. While Martin followed his advice, Samuel could hear his friend's agonized screams, indicating Martin was nearby. Samuel wanted to rescue him immediately, but Martin warned him not to come. The rogue lion was standing right in front of him, and coming near would mean inviting certain death. Samuel, unwilling to leave his friend in danger, devised a plan with his daughters. They searched for the tranquilizer gun they had brought along. Although Samuel didn't know how to operate it, Meredith easily set it up because she had observed Banji preparing it earlier when Martin approached the lions. At that moment, Martin informed them that the lion had disappeared from his sight. Then Samuel climbed onto the car with the tranquilizer gun and started surveying the surroundings. Meanwhile, Meredith stepped out of the car and began moving towards the spot where Martin was located. Just at that moment, the ferocious lion appeared on the hilltop behind their car. Seeing the lion, Samuel tried to shoot it with the tranquilizer gun, but before he could, the lion leaped at him. By sheer luck, Samuel managed to escape the lion's grasp and crawled under the car. Despite its enormous size preventing it from getting under the car, the lion relentlessly tried to catch him. To defend himself, Samuel kicked the lion in the face repeatedly and fought it off with the tranquilizer gun in hand. Taking advantage of the moment, Nora struck the lion, forcing it to retreat a considerable distance. By then, Meredith had reached Martin and brought him back to the car. Once inside, they began tending to Samuel's injuries, but his leg had been deeply torn by the lion's attack. They had no choice but to stitch his leg inside the car. However, their respite was short-lived. The lion soon returned to attack them again. As the night fell, they tried using the car's communication device, but no response came. Samuel then told his daughters that they would have to survive for an extended period using the supplies and food they had in the car. At this point, Martin remarked about the lion's unusual behavior. He pointed out that the lion was attacking, but wasn't eating anyone. "Have you noticed?" Martin asked. "Lions usually kill or hunt for food, but when a lion kills without eating, it means it isn't here to hunt, it's here for revenge." He explained that poachers had likely killed the lion's family, and the lion, now alone, was avenging the loss of its loved ones. Later that night, Samuel woke up to find his daughters missing from the car. Panicked, he turned on the car's headlights and saw the lion attacking his daughters. However, it wasn't real. After a while, Samuel realized he was hallucinating due to the immense stress and trauma of their situation. At that moment, their radio received a signal, and they noticed the lights of some vehicles approaching from behind. Thinking it was a rescue team, they felt relieved. However, it turned out to be poachers instead. Despite this, Samuel pleaded with them for help. The poachers, after listening to Samuel's pleas, agreed to take them to the city in exchange for money. Samuel accepted their conditions, but the moment the poachers saw Martin in the car, they changed their stance. Martin, being an animal lover, was well known among the poachers and despised by them. The poachers, enraged by Martin's presence, decided to kill Samuel and abduct his daughters. At that moment, the lion pounced on the poachers. Taking advantage of the chaos, Samuel ventured into the jungle to search for the keys to the poacher's vehicle. Despite the terrifying darkness of the jungle and the presence of the lion, Samuel held his breath and lay flat on a tree to avoid being spotted. Even when a venomous snake from the jungle slithered onto his hand, Samuel, an ordinary man from the city, didn't panic. Instead, he grabbed the snake and threw it at the lion below. Startled by the snake, the lion moved away for a while. Seizing the opportunity, Samuel entered a body of water. However, the lion could still sense his presence and roamed around, waiting for an opening. As Samuel took longer than expected, his daughters honked the car horn to divert the lion's attention. The lion, distracted by the sound, moved toward the car. Samuel then emerged from the water, approached a critically injured poacher, and retrieved the vehicle's keys and a gun from him. By this time, the lion had reached their car and through a broken window, attacked Meredith, injuring her. Adding to the crisis, the damaged car was precariously stuck at the edge of a cliff and began sliding toward it. Acting quickly, Martin helped Samuel's daughters out of the car and pushed it, along with himself and the lion, over the cliff. However, the powerful lion survived the fall. Roaring ferociously, it advanced toward Martin. Spotting fuel leaking from the car, Martin lit his lighter, causing a massive explosion that engulfed everything in flames within seconds. Despite this, Martin's intent was never to kill the animal. He was forced to act to save his friend and the innocent children. As dawn broke, Samuel and his daughters arrived at an abandoned school. Samuel decided to take shelter there temporarily. His daughter was severely injured, and the car didn't have enough fuel to continue, making the deserted school a safer option than being stranded on an empty road. Inside the school, they discovered that poachers had used the place to kill and hang various animals. Ignoring the gruesome scene, Samuel and Nora began searching for medical supplies to treat Meredith. Fortunately, they found some useful items and started tending to Meredith's injuries. After treating his daughter, Samuel went outside to fetch water. Meanwhile, the lion approached the room where Nora and Meredith were staying. To their horror, they realized that Martin's explosion had failed to kill the lion, which had now tracked them to this location. Terrified, they couldn't believe the lion had followed them here. Determined to survive, Nora moved her injured sister to another location. But when the lion spotted them, they screamed for Samuel. Samuel rushed to their aid, firing at the lion to drive it away temporarily. He then moved the injured Meredith and Nora to another secure room, one where the lion could not enter. Samuel assured his daughters that he would fix everything and locked them safely inside the room. Then, Samuel decided to face the enraged lion himself. He fearlessly stepped into the field, taunting the lion with a knife in hand. At that moment, the lion leaped at him. The ferocious lion began attacking Samuel with its large claws and sharp teeth. However, Samuel faced it like a brave warrior. Although he lacked the lion's strength, his courage was no less formidable. This battle was not just between a man and a beast, it was a father's fight to protect his children. But fighting such a massive and powerful lion for long was beyond Samuel's capacity. At one point, Samuel was on the verge of death. Just then, two other lions appeared in front of the ferocious lion. These were Martin's two pet lions that used to play with him. Now they stood before Samuel. In reality, Samuel had cleverly lured the ferocious lion to the habitat of Martin's pet lions. He knew that Martin's lions would attack the rogue lion. According to Martin, lions instinctively kill any creature that poses a threat to their family. Since the rogue lion was extremely aggressive, the two lions immediately recognized it as a danger to their offspring. To protect their young, they attacked the rogue lion. Samuel's plan worked perfectly. The two lions began fighting the rogue lion, allowing Samuel to escape from the scene. The next scene shows Samuel in a hospital bed, gravely injured from his fight with the lion. However, both his daughters and he were now safe. Martin's colleague Banji had arrived to rescue them. It was also revealed that the rogue lion had died in its battle with the two other lions. And that was today's movie. How did you like the video? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep enjoying more interesting stories like this one.